All right, you loyal listeners. Welcome to another episode of Agents Influence Podcast, Conversations with Jason Cass, and today, Mr. Aubie Knight of North Carolina. Aubie, how are you doing, sir?
Doing fantastic, Jason. Hope you are.
I sure am. Hey, I want to remind you guys, don't let it forget about Indie Tech, IndieTech2023.com. Go out there and check it out. It's already open for registration for attendees. Just opened March 1st. Got a nice little bandwagon of people rolling in there. Also, if you're a vendor, we've probably reached out to you already or let know. Important part is you got to get in and submit. Doesn't even matter if you pay. We don't even charge you right now. We just want to get you in there because our software doesn't put out your logo. It won't populate onto the screen where everybody can see who's coming unless you at least submit and I approve you, not even to pay. So that's awesome. So anybody who's out there, just remember that. But for all you attendees, we're going to create the customer experience. And we're going to show you the technology you use in that process. So that's what we're doing. And today, right now, in your ear, we're going to talk all about InsurTech and Indie Tech. And you're going to probably find out some pretty amazing things. And we also have been joined by the one and only, am I right over here? Pat Cline, or is he just sitting in? Or
No, I'm open to join.
Okay, fantastic. Sometimes people have people, that are just like helping doing the audio or whatever, even though Aubie told me he didn't. I was thinking, shit, Aubie's probably like me and he forgot someone else was here. I do that stuff all the time. So anyways, Pat, nice to have you.
Nice to meet you as well, thanks.
Yeah. So, Aubie, I want to talk about the what's going on. I mean, it's no secret out there that this 101 Weston Labs has been something that obviously I know how you are, Aubie. And once again, I know this is probably the brainchild of many things, but I know how you are. This isn't just something you throw together. You've thought about this. You've put it together. Tell us, take us back a couple months, a year, 2 years. Give us the thought of why this is and then why and how you're delivering it.
Yeah, sure. So I guess maybe a little bit of background of just what is it? What is 101 Weston Labs for people that have not heard? And it is an InsurTech Accelerator started by the Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina. And it is our effort to bring regular old independent insurance agents and give them a seat at the InsurTech table to help them have a voice in the development of new technology that is meant to strengthen the distribution system. So
love it.
That is what it is. Pat, who's joining us here, is the Director of Accelerator Operations. Super thankful for Pat and the great job that he's doing in actually breathing life into this vision. And so I'll give you a little bit of background about how we got to this point. So IINC, our organization is a very sound association, right? I mean, we've been around for 125 years and we've enjoyed a lot of success during that time period. And that has allowed us to accumulate some assets, some reserve funds, which a lot of associations have from, a century of being in business. And over the course of the last 5 years, we've been pretty involved in the InsurTech space, particularly in taking very small equity pieces of some of the InsurTech startups, so to speak, okay? Because fundamentally, we believe that the distribution system in the future will continue to thrive and be as healthy as the technology that they develop or the technology that they implement in order to improve efficiencies and enhance the customer experience, right? So we believe that since we're such believers in the independent agency system and that we feel that the future health of the agency system is directly tied to technology, we wanted to support those companies that were out there that were building tech to support agents, right? So we've participated in either seed round funding or Series A funding for several InsurTechs. We had our first exit event over the summer, which was with Tarmica, and when they sold to Applied, we were early investors with Tarmica. And so because of being active in that space, Jason, and you know this as well as anybody, when you become active in a space, all of a sudden the number of opportunities that are being presented to you multiply, right? People know that you're engaged in the space. So, all of a sudden I'm being asked to sit in on product demos and being, given term sheets for early stage companies fairly frequently. And, I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not. I have no expertise at all in evaluating early stage technology companies and determining whether they're viable and how good is the product and how good is the business plan. So as we've sort of kind of matured in our approach towards evaluating these companies, I just started having this idea that why don't we? Because one thing you realize too is you talk to a lot of these companies, and either they've developed a product that's not really targeting a main problem that agents have, or maybe you question their business plan and how they're planning to go to market, or some fundamental questions they may not have answered. And, so you pass on those opportunities. But I started thinking what if there was an opportunity for us to really sit down with these companies over a length of time and help them better address the problems that independent insurance agents have. Help them better think through the ways that they can enter the marketplace. Help them think through how they can become more investment ready. So this idea of building an accelerator, just kind of popped into my mind and thought, someone needs to do this. I mean, I'm absolutely convinced. And in the several months leading up to this, I frankly talked to other people and said, someone needs to do this. I don't know that someone is us, but someone needs to do it. Well, there's not a lot of people jumping up and down to do this. So we said, well, my board is so great. My board of directors is so fantastic in terms of thought leadership. And they're like, they want us to solve the big problems facing the industry, right? And I could talk about Insure Academy and what we're doing with vocational training and trying to bring new people into the industry. I mean, my board looks at these macro problems facing the industry, and they're like, if not us, who? Right? So let's do this. So I literally kind of pitched this concept to my board of directors back in June of last year, and they're like, make it happen.
Yeah.
Go forth and do this.
If someone is listening, you loyal listeners, if you're not in the Big I, if maybe you're a member, but you don't go to a lot of the events or functions or whatever, just so you know, it's just not because what Aubie is saying. North Carolina is a very, very strong state in the Big I association of all the states that there are. Even young agents. I remember when I was the young agent chair, the young agents of North Carolina were always in winning the awards, Young Agent Committee of the Year. They just are. You guys do. You have this, I don't know what it is that goes inside those borders, but you guys have a very forward-looking board. Sometimes, and we don't need to go there, it can be a lot more forward thinking than even sometimes maybe the national boards on the ways that we need to be thinking. But that only makes sense when you're talking about the issues of North Carolina agents, right? You should have the pulse of that. But what's so awesome that you're illustrating here, Aubie, is that they have the pulse. They're trying to have the pulse of, hey, if someone's not going to fix it, no matter where it is, if it's an insurance problem, it's our problem. Let's try to get our hands around that. Question 101 Weston, where'd it come from?
Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting story, and anybody that's gone through the process of naming an organization these days has probably felt similar frustration, right? You start off with a really cool name, and then you realize it's not available, right? It's not available. The website's not available, and it's so funny because you look at all these InsurTech names. They're made up names. Well, I mean, I mentioned Tarmica earlier. That's not a word. So you end up making stuff up, and so that was kind of our struggle. We threw together, we threw on the wall like 15 things that we liked, and most of those were not available. So then we had some that were very literal, like IA Accelerator, things like that, and then we had some that were more esoteric. I don't know if that's the right word, but that were less literal. And so we polled a bunch of people. We polled our advisory council. We polled my staff. I polled my board, and it was very clear. You had half the people that wanted a literal name, and then half the people that wanted a less literal name. And IA Weston Labs was second place among both groups. So it wasn't anybody's favorite name, but it was kind of the second place name. And I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with how the logo turned out and everything.
I do too.
What we that's our address, by the way. 101 Weston Oaks Court is the address.
I figured. Yeah, okay.
So 101 Weston Labs. So 101 Weston is our home, and our thought process there is 101 Weston Labs will be the home of insurance innovation to support independent agents in the next generation.
I love it. That's great. I figured that's what it was, but no, they and not only that, if you really think about it, like 101 Weston Labs, it just seems like it's just got this good feel, right? It's like a good warm feel. Pat, let's talk to you a little bit about this. What's your what's your point in this? What's your daily job? What's your vision? Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. The vision, I think, holds to what Aubie already explained, which is to find companies, just the general principle of an accelerator for those who might be new to the idea is essentially a hyper-focused way to help companies grow. And in our case, we're looking for early-stage companies that are focused on the independent agents distribution channel and might not have customers yet, or they might be in the early stages of revenue generation, and we provide them with access to the industry, mentorship, some leadership development, as well as some curriculum on business development. And we want it to be a pretty well-rounded experience. We also want it to be individualized, so there's a lot of emphasis on mentorship and coaching. And then I think our big differentiator and what we're looking to accomplish is to have access to what we're calling like the Main Street agents. We want agents to be involved in the technology that will be in their future. So that might be user research for companies that are earlier stage. How does this product feel and while you're using it, that type of thing, all the way to running pilots with it, and then hopefully becoming customers and really making that link for everyone. And just for me, sort of on a day-to-day basis, I kind of shift, right? Because we spent a lot of time launching, and that was a marketing effort and how do we message this thing and naming and those things we've already discussed. And now I'll switch into, okay, let's build, right? Like let's put the curriculum together. Let's get the experts to support this. And then we'll go into execution. And it's a 12-week program. It starts on June 12th. And we'll run live to kick off, and we'll have a live and virtual demo day in August 28th, where that's the culmination where we kind of show the world what the first group will bring.
Okay, all right, fantastic, dude. That is so you can just. I hope everybody's getting it. It seems easy to me, seems easy to us, but agents, what if you're getting that out there? They're trying to find companies that are creating technology for us, but it's daunting. I talk to a lot of these indie tech. They're like trying to call agents, and they're trying to say, hey, can you help me? And would you give me insight? And the agent they don't know if they're calling the wrong agent or the right agent. And there's so much of this stuff out there, loyal listeners, that like they're trying their best to clamor for that. And not everybody, very few actually get the 5, 10, 15, $20 million, so the majority of them don't. And what 101 Weston is doing here is trying to enable that to say, hey, let's give them that expertise. Let's try to help them out. Because in the end, we're just trying to put good technology into the independent insurance agent's hands so that we can create a better customer experience, have better processes, be more efficient, all that stuff that technology can provide us. Anything that you would add to that, Aubie?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to do. It's, there's... you think about the technology journey that an agency's on, and one of the things that they've got to first become aware that the technology exists, then they've got to evaluate it, and then they've got to select it, then they've got to implement it. But it kind of is a precursor to all that. The right technology has to be created, right?
Yeah, I heard you say that earlier. Let's talk more about that.
So the right tech has to be created. So just I'll just share with you. We launched one week ago. And we've already heard from maybe close to 4 or 5 companies that we didn't even know existed, right? I mean, that we've never even heard of, that are out there trying to develop products to solve a problem within the independent agency system. And most of these are literally trying to solve problems within agencies, right? And some of them are, and I love the origin story where it's actually an agent who was dealing with a problem, built out a solution to work for his agency, and now he's like, if this works so well for my agency, why don't I think about turning this into a company and building out this product to help lots of agents? And
David Watson at Risk Advisor. I know there's a lot of examples, but that's a classic one there.
You're exactly right. So those are the type of companies that we're hearing about, and we want to encourage those people that are entrepreneurial and inspiring problem solvers to be able to develop these products so that other agencies have an opportunity to reap those same benefits. And we think we've got a great formula for being able to do that. My advisory council of the Accelerator, it's a lot of people that...
Yeah, would you say that? To give the recognition to them. Who is that?
Yeah, so, I don't have the list.
Yeah, you don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry about that.
No. Jack Wingate, Jeff Roy, Bradley, Chris Paradiso, Daniel Song. I mean, it's a great group. Avery Johnson in Oklahoma. So it's a fantastic group of folks. And then we've got industry people as well that are helping us. Weston Anderson from Agency VA is helping us as well. So it's a great group. And then we're looking at this effort as being really inclusive. I mean, there are lots of people that we've talked to that are supportive of the effort. I mean, I appreciate your support of the effort and helping us get the word out. And we've talked to more founders of tech companies that are more mature, that are willing to be mentors and coach and help
That's
these
great.
earlier stage companies figure out how they can get to that where they are successfully raising a Series A at a $20 million valuation or something like that. I mean, that's what we hope happens to all the companies that come through our program, and they end up, building a very viable product that makes agents' lives easier and helps them thrive into the future.
So, Aubie, so you and I talked a little bit about this last year, but we're doing the Indie Tech, and we've got all that going. And you and I were talking about some of the Indie Tech carriers out there. And here, what was amazing is I now have a list of 147 of these people that are out there. The definition: Indie Tech, Insure Tech, whatever. I need to give you that list to make sure. But my point is, 30 of them, I know. Like, I've heard of them or kind of know of them. Over 100 plus, I've never heard of them one time in my life.
Who are they? What do they do?
What do they do?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and they're even hard to get a hold of to come to the thing because they're just a name out there right now, and somebody's trying to create technology. I wonder, you got me thinking, like, of those 140 some, I guarantee you there's 30, 40, or 50 of them that probably are creating technology that probably shouldn't because it doesn't really fit and they just may not know. Or they could just have a little tweak to it, right? And then it's like, bam.
Right.
This is how this is exciting for this stuff to happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm certainly not going to name names, but Pat and I got an introduction video from a founder of a tech company yesterday introducing us to his firm and I go to the website and I read what it is he's doing. And I tell Pat, it's like I have no idea what problem he's trying to solve. Like, I mean, what? And then I had a call with Carrie Wallace from Agency Focus, whom you know. I had a call with Carrie this morning, and I sent the link to Carrie because she's asked me how the launch went. I said, Carrie, will you do me a favor and just read the homepage of this website and what's he trying to figure? What's he trying to solve for? And she's like, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, but I'm not really sure. And I'm like, so maybe
that's out there.
Maybe that's a great candidate for the Accelerator, right? Where maybe he's got some really cool idea that he's just not very well articulating, and we'd be like, no, this is a real problem. But let's refine how you're addressing it, and let us help you with this, right? And that goes into the coaching that Pat was talking about.
So, Aubie, what if someone wants to be an investor? How do they get involved in this? Is that a whole different department of 101? It's
Yes. So in the future, right, we've talked about possibly creating a fund that agents could contribute to and be, take an equity piece of this. As of right now, if you invest in InsurTech, if investing in InsurTech is something that interests you, please let us know, and we will absolutely invite you to pitch day. And we want as many potential investors to come to pitch day as possible to hear about these products and to meet the entrepreneurs and to hear their pitch and invest. Because at the end of the day, we're not set up financially to be the lead investor, right? I mean, if somebody's looking to raise $5 million and they're looking for somebody to stroke a check for $2 million and then go out to other funds to fill in the rest, that's not us, right? We hope to be able to connect these companies with the right angel investors, the VC, the venture capital companies, and I know and you know this as well. There are a lot of agents that do invest, smaller sums, and they love to invest in insurance. So we want to have all of those people present in the room for a pitch day for sure.
Okay. And I think I caught the date of August 28th.
It's right. It's just before IndyTech.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say. I mean, I got a location if you wanted to have it there, but I assume you probably already have a location.
It's funny. You and I, we did talk about that. I mean, we thought about that as a possibility. One of the things that I want to do is we want to live stream pitch day so that people that can't be there physically can attend virtually. And in order for us to do that with our connections and the logistics and all, you got to have. We're going to have to do it here. We're going to have.
Where you doing it? Do it right? Yeah. Okay.
In North Carolina, in the Triangle.
At pitch day, is there anything that what are we trying to get out of pitch day? What happens? What's a pitch day look like?
Well, it will be a set amount of time, a small amount of time, where the entrepreneurs basically go through their slide deck, their investor pitch, and they talk about their total available market and what their business model looks like and what the product is and how they think they're going to be able to grow and potentially what's the exit strategy from there in order to entice investors. Pat, anything else I should have added to that?
Yeah, I think it's also just a little bit of a party, to be honest. Like it's an occasion for people to get together, meet each other, catch up, and so what Aubie's talking about is like that formal programming might just be an hour, but we want to bookend it, right? We want to have something on the front, something on the back, where we can meet new people and introduce ourselves as well. The investing space is broad and we don't know everybody out there, so like. As an introduction. Is
anybody coming out a winner or anything? Like, is there after they pitch, there's nobody that's awarded or anything?
No, generally that happens when you're not doing the investment piece of it. So since we're going to do a fixed amount of investment, that's sort of like how we handle the monetary aspect of that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's super interesting because Pat had to. There are lots of options, right? Some accelerators. Everybody comes through and there is one winner at the end that receives the investment. We have decided to be an investment accelerator. So every company that is accepted into our program will receive an investment from IINC.
Sweet. That's great. That is great, dude. That is sweet. Well, I mean, I really don't know much else. I mean, is there anything else out there that you guys are really wanting to, get out that you want people to know? I mean, how can people get involved? Pat?
Well, I wanted to pick up on one point you mentioned.
Yeah,
Jason.
sorry about that.
No problem. Earlier, where you were talking about sort of this mismatch of agents and companies calling, and our goal is to somewhat formalize that, right? To get agents, and this is a big part of I think the ask for being with you during this time. We want agents who want to be involved in this process. They can come to the website and there's a contact form. They just fill out that they're an agent, where they are. We'll get back in touch with them because we want those people linked up to these companies, and hopefully they feel a little less wary, right? Because we have vetted these companies. We're working with them on a daily basis. They're real. They are trying to solve a problem. And so we are hopefully creating this relationship in the future for tens and dozens and hundreds of agents with these 5 to 6 to 8 companies coming through at a time. And so the ability to, once again, like formalize that process is hopefully going to just be a win for both sides.
I think it will be. Someone just needed to organize it. As you were talking earlier, Aubie, I mean, the need's already there. It's already happening. It's are we going to grab it, And I remember it, and it makes me feel old in this industry. I've been doing it 23 years, but it's I can't even tell you how many times these guys that are in my agency today, they don't have the same problems I had. My problems were, if I had any technology and it was even halfway decent in 2005 or 2010, you would ask yourself, did anybody sit on this side of the desk that created this technology, right? And I think if we challenge ourselves today, loyal listeners, that's actually becoming less and less that we think that. Because like if you use Wonderwrite, it was made by an agent, Peter McDonald, that did commercial lines insurance, and the submission process was terrible. And if you do commercial lines insurance, you will know that that thing is a godsend, right? So now we're getting the complete opposite, and that is a really, really, really good thing. That is a really, really good thing to know.
Another great example of agent-started tech, right?
Yes, great. Then you said Tarmica before. There's a ton of it out there. And if we really want to get truthful, we could pretty much say as well that really, if I look around my office, I'm going to say we're going by the 80-20 rule. 80% of my tech stack is indie tech. And what that means is it's technology that's made specifically for an independent agent. You can't be a State Farm agent and use it. You can't be a New York life insurance agent and use it, right? This stuff is made for an independent agent, And so when you really think about that stuff, and I was thinking to myself, and maybe this may not be right, when I was driving here to do this podcast, Aubie, I thought to myself, is all indie, let's see, InsurTech, all indie tech is InsurTech, but not all InsurTech is indie tech. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
I said that right?
100% right, yep.
That's right, because it's almost like a subset, right? Because if we say that this is all insurance, then we start really diving into it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the focus of what we're trying to look at here.
I mean, the first, before the word InsurTech came about, I guess you could go back all the way to, the first personal lines comparative raters and agency management systems would have fit the definition of InsurTech, right?
Good point, yeah.
But then I guess it was probably around 2015 or 16 that FinTech and InsurTech became big, Wall Street words almost, like buzzwords.
That's right.
And God, man, those early days of the InsurTech Connect conference in Vegas were absolutely horrifying to be sitting there in my role and to have these very confident, very, very well-funded organizations, these CEOs sitting up there going, I'm going to build algorithms and I'm going to build AI to replace agents, and we're going to take all your lunch money, and your kids aren't going to be able to go to college because we're coming for you.
It was just like that.
And you're just like, holy crap, that's terrifying. And then you look around the world and you see what's happening in taxi cab drivers, and you see what happened to travel agents, and you're seeing what's happened to hotel and motels with Airbnb, and you're like, man, if the people that have the best tech are going to win in the long run, we better do what we can do to make sure that agents have the best tech.
That's right.
And that's where we are. I mean, it took me too long to get my thoughts together and to move in this direction, but
it's going quick.
We're
now.
still early, as opposed to like an agents organization saying, let's get agents together and let's build tech that support agents.
AI will not replace agents, but agents who use AI will replace those who do not. I don't know if there's ever been more truer words say. I say it so much I should just claim it, but it was done by the words of Jeff Roy, who actually said that. He was inside of our mastermind champion, or our mastermind, and he said it, and I was like, oh shit, bro, that's ginormous right there, what you just said, when you really think about that. So I think it really is. And I tell you, this industry has went so slow, but damn, it's going quick now. Holy crapola. And sometimes you know, the old anchorage used to be, well, no matter how much technology you get, the carriers, they still dictate everything. Well, not much anymore. The carriers are kind of like, hey, we're going back to doing risk advising, you know, and risk rating. Let these other people get out there and do what they do. And I think that those are the people that are going to win because they understand the essence of the independent insurance agent. And Aubie, thank you very much for doing what you've done.
Hey, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support and certainly appreciate you allowing us this time to talk about what we're doing.
Well, and Pat, I hope I get to meet you one day. We'll see each other here soon
sure.
and shake your hand and stuff like that. I would love to come to pitch day, but obviously the day before the Indy Tech is just
yeah. I'm going to try to bring Pat with me to Indy Tech.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Please do, and I appreciate you being a part of that as well. Amy, we're having a CEO panel, and I don't know if I was able to tell you, but Amy Zupon from the Vertifor CEO, she confirmed.
Oh, awesome.
Reed Holsworth has confirmed. Mike Becker has confirmed. I have a personal invite into Charles Symington for him to come, and then Taylor Rhodes of Applied. Taylor's is an awesome guy.
That's a powerhouse panel there, buddy.
Well, all I want to do is this is Sweden, man. Not Sweden. This is Switzerland. It's a neutral.
Switzerland.
No, it's a different thing, I guess, when it comes to war, especially today. But you know, the thing is that I really truly believe that I want to hear from everybody. I mean, the Big I, the PIA, Vertifor, and Applied, they lead organizations that represent independence. And I just want to know, like, what's everybody's thought on how this is going? I can't wait until we're able to talk about 101 Weston on that stage, about the way they feel. I guarantee you these tech carriers or these large have got to be starting to think about having their own incubators. And if they're not, they got to start thinking about that, you know. But why now? Why not just use yours?
Exactly.
Let's all get behind this one. That was my post, Aubie, in LinkedIn. This is something we should all get behind. That doesn't mean now we all start going creating our own damn incubators everywhere. No, let's all get behind one thing and give it the force that it deserves. So thank you, Aubie, and thank you, Pat, for making that happen. Sorry about that, buddy.
Much appreciated, man.
No, thank you very much. Loyal listeners, I hope that you go out there and you can find and one thing, what is the email address or the website?
101westonlabs.com.
That's what I figured, because that one was available. And so, you know, that makes sense. And I could almost see like 101 Weston Labs and other different types of things out there. This is just the beginning of something great. Loyal listeners, be sure to go there and check that out. This is something you need to get behind. If you know somebody who likes to do investing, make sure that they get involved as well, because money's going to be needed for these guys. Maybe there will be a fund at a later time. Also, maybe if you're part of your organization, part of your Big I, your PIA, maybe this is something you mention to your state and say, hey, how can we get behind this? Not create your own. How can we get behind this so that we're focused on all our energy, on making some change and forward momentum in the greatest industry God has ever created. I do what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Jay Cass. He's Aubie Knight. He's Pat Cline. We're out. Bam!